Yo, what's up guys, C-Jax back with another video, and tonight's Smackdown, we're going to do a little recap, but this episode was good and bad at the same time. Now, let's just start off with the opening. Tiffany Stratton and Nia Jax come out and do this segment, this coronation ceremony for Nia Jax, because she's the queen of the ring and she's also the new WWE Women's Champion, and this segment was just cringe and corny. What are they called? The Pretty Deadly group, they come out and do their little musical stuff. It was just dumb. I didn't really laugh at it. I laughed at it because of how bad and dumb it was, but it didn't do anything for me. It wasn't really entertaining, and I just found it kind of boring and repetitive with the types of characters that Pretty Deadly are and the character that Tiffany Stratton is. It didn't work, and I honestly was hoping that someone showed up special here, I don't even know, man, Charlotte Flair returning maybe, or just something, because Nia Jax gets interrupted by Michin. That's how weak the women's division is in WWE, which I referenced in my other video. People were saying, oh, you're hating, bro, you're hating. Yeah, look at the women's division. Nia Jax is the WWE champion, and she's going to be challenging Michin probably on an episode of Smackdown or at Bash in Berlin for the WWE Women's Championship, bro. This division sucks. Well, the women's division on SmackDown is garbage. And then you get to the next thing. Blair Davenport, who's been on, 3 or 4 SmackDowns in the last 5 months, and she's facing Naomi in Naomi's hometown and beats Naomi? How is a jobber like Blair Davenport beating Naomi? And the match was mid. It was a botch fest, obviously, because that's what they do. But still, come on. Naomi deserves more respect than that. Her and Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair are just the jobber squad now. There's no aura. There's no star power. They just exist. They show up, and that's pretty much it now. They're just a comedy act. Then you get Carmelo Hayes versus Andrade Part 3, which, again, like I said, this show's good and bad, because even though this match was very good, just like the other 2 matches they've had, we've already seen it. You know what I'm saying? It's a good match, but we've already seen it. The only thing they did that I thought was different with this one was the fact that obviously Melo won, and then after the match is over, they had Carmelo Hayes basically got a brawl with Andrade or whatnot, and that's going to set up them probably doing a part 4 to this whole entire feud, which honestly I'm fine with at this point because the matches are good, so who cares? But it's bad because at the same time, why are we seeing the same content every single week? I feel like I'm watching the same matches in the same formula, because right after this, you get Kevin Owens and Cody Rhodes. Kevin Owens finishes beating Grayson Waller in a mid-matchup, where he seems kind of enraged after a backstage promo from earlier. And then after that, Cody Rhodes comes out and saves him, which Cody Rhodes is now being treated as a mid-carder by Triple H. And that's exactly what he should be getting treated as. The only problem is that he's the WWE champion, right? So if he really was that good, and if they wanted to make the title mean something, he would at least be upper in the card than this. This is stupid. Cody Rhodes comes out in the middle of the show and helps Kevin Owens from getting beat down by Austin Theory and Grayson Waller. And then after that's done, Austin Theory and Grayson Waller play the same characters of just jobbers who get beat up by the good guys every week. I mean, it's pretty boring at this point. But Cody gets the title handed to him by Kevin Owens, and it's supposed to be some big moment. And Owens handed him the title. I respect you. We're going to see what the better man is at Bash in Berlin. What are you going to talk about? It's the same stuff. You know what I'm saying? Cody is relegated now to basically being a mid-carder. He goes out there, cuts a saying. He doesn't even cut a promo tonight. They saved us from that boring mediocrity. And they basically had him just go out and, I don't even know. He just hit Grayson Waller, gets the title handed to him. We're done. So Cody's now a mid-carder, and they're actually acknowledging that he's not even the main event or the main attraction on his own show. LA Knight, however, is the main attraction on SmackDown besides Roman Reigns. Because in WWE, there's only a couple storylines that actually matter right now. And the Bloodline is really the main one of those storylines. But LA Knight cuts a very, very good promo. And pretty much in this promo, he's talking about Santos Escobar and, how he's going to beat him next week on SmackDown. Which SmackDown next week has 7 different title defenses. So it's going to be pretty crazy. Or several title defenses. So that's going to be nice. I'm really interested to see what happens with all of that. But LA Knight cuts a good promo as usual. He says he's trash, but he's still going to trash, Escobar. It was a pretty nice play on words, and he did a solid job. And the pop that LA Knight got was massive. It was a huge pop for LA Knight when he came out tonight, bro. And the only person who got a bigger pop than him was Roman Reigns, which we'll get to in a second. Before we get to Roman Reigns' final, main event segment thing, the Street Profits fought DIY in a very, very good match. This match was honestly, it was better than I thought it was going to be, because I thought DIY was just going to win and get their rematch, which they do deserve a rematch down the line. But at the same time, I like the Street Profits. You know what I'm saying? Like, I want the Street Profits to win gold at some point. I mean, Montez Ford and Angelo Dawkins are way too talented to be jobbing out to Pretty Deadly and DIY on SmackDown. You get what I'm saying? They should be winning. And hopefully next week they win the Tag Team Championships, because tonight's match was great. The false finishes, the aerial moves. You know, Montez Ford and Angelo, man, they just really know how to do this stuff. I don't know how else to say it. They're great wrestlers, great in the ring, great on the mic. They hopefully have a really, really good future in the near future, right? I hope they beat the Bloodline next week, but I probably know that's probably not going to happen. So now let's get to Roman Reigns' main event segment. He comes out, and this is where I have a problem with Roman Reigns' new entrance. This entrance takes forever to get into. Not only does the intro, like, to the actual song, where it goes like dun 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 dun, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, it gets to the actual part of the song that matters. That takes a minute. It takes a whole minute, so he's basically just walking out. The crowd's dead silent for like 10 seconds because I have to wait for him to actually get out there and, you know, actually get down the ramp and for the music to start, because the music doesn't actually start like the part where it's like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na. Like, that doesn't start until a minute and a half into the song, bro. Like, I'm dead serious. It's at least like 45 seconds to a minute, which is like 30 seconds to a minute longer than it took in his original soundtrack for him to get out to the ring. So that's just absurd. And then, you know, once he comes out, you know, the song doesn't blare as loud as it used to, or as, you know, rambunctious and as, like, you know, powerful, because it's a little bit of a softer song in terms of, like, the, you know, the sound of it. You get what I'm saying, right? The old one was like da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, but now this one's more of like a guitarist, like, violinist kind of thing. It's very weird. It doesn't have that same, like, oomph to it as the old theme did. But he comes out. Him and Solo, they basically have a standoff, and then they fight like they did last week. Roman Reigns spears Solo, knocks him down, and then he also knocks down Tama Tonga as well. And, you know, pretty much at this point, he grabs the Ula Fala. And Solo Sikoa said earlier in the show that when Roman Reigns grabs the Ula Fala, if he gets it, he is now the tribal chief, and you must acknowledge him, right? Whoever has the Ula Fala is the tribal chief. However, Roman gets the Ula Fala, and after this happens, Jacob Fatu comes out in an ankle boot, because apparently he's injured, quote unquote, but he's probably completely fine. I mean, he's still out there wrestling and moving around and everything, but anyways, he comes out there and beats the crap out of Roman Reigns and assaults him from behind. After this happens, him, Solo, and Tama Tonga pretty much drag Roman Reigns outside of the ring, right? And then they powerbomb him through a table. And I like this segment, but I also don't like the ending of this show specifically, and let me explain. Roman Reigns is a super powerhouse that's been developed over the last 9 years at the company. Especially as a tribal chief, this dude is literally the end-all, be-all. He is the big dog of WWE. For him to go out and actually get dominated by the Bloodline like this in a 3-on-1 assault not only makes him look like he can finally be beaten, you know, he doesn't need to have some crazy interference, he can be beaten by, you know, 2 or 3 dudes. You know what I'm saying? That makes him look vulnerable to people like Jacob Fatu, and which sets up a match potentially for Jacob Fatu and Roman Reigns at a Bash in Berlin or a Bad Blood. And that match would be a banger. You get what I'm saying? So that's the good part of it. And another good part of it is that it's going to set up Jimmy's return is going to be even stronger now. Because now Roman is going to need Jimmy. He's going to need Jay. He's going to need Sammy. After everything he's done to them, he's going to actually be calling on them to help him out. And them setting that up with this moment on SmackDown is going to be great for the long term of this story. This story tonight was just part 1 or part 2 of them laying the groundwork and the foundation for this Bloodline 2.0 whole storyline that's going to probably end at WrestleMania 41. And I think that in that aspect, what it's doing for the long term of the story of this and how it's dragging it out a little bit more and how it's going to ultimately make all the payoffs that much stronger and that much better, that is a great thing. The only problem here is the theme song's not that good. And on top of that, I don't think that, you know, we really need to be dragging something like this out, a story like this out, for 5 to 6 months. But that's probably what they're going to do. In reality, it should be Roman versus Jacob Fatu at Bash in Berlin, and then it should be Roman versus Solo at Bad Blood, and then it should be Roman's bloodline versus, you know, Solo's bloodline at Survivor Series. And then The Rock shows up at the end and surprises everybody and reveals that he's the one kind of making Solo Sikoa like a puppeteer to his schemes behind the scenes. You get what I'm saying? He's the true final boss of the bloodline and of Roman Reigns. You see what I'm saying? That's what the story should be, and I think that's what they're going to do. So for tonight, perfect for setting up that long-term story. Absolutely perfect. However, like I said, the theme's not good, and I'm tired of seeing the bloodline come out every week and beat people up. They did it to Cody Rhodes for 6 weeks straight, and now they're doing it to Roman Reigns, and they're probably going to do it again for another week or two when Roman comes back in 2 weeks or however long it's going to take for him to be on SmackDown again. You see? So there's a little bit of bad, but obviously the good way outweighs the bad, and Roman Reigns get the biggest pop of the night, biggest pop of the week. The crowd is in love with this OTC gimmick, and I'm telling you, when you include Jay and Sammy and Jimmy in this, dude, and Paul Heyman, oh my gosh, this thing is going to take off like never before, bro. And when they add The Rock as the main villain of all this, it's going to be insane. And the good thing is that this won't need to be 5 months, because realistically, The Rock is probably going to be back in 2 or 3 months max. So it's not going to be really needing to drag out for 4 months. So it won't take that long. But at the same time, why does it have to take the 3 months? Why can't we just fully set this up by like October and then finally set up the Bloodline Civil War and just get it over with, right? But we're going to have to wait 6 or 7 weeks minimum, because that's what Triple H does. It makes for long-term build-up and long-term payoffs, which I know this story is going to be good long-term. But again, in the short term, Bloodline's just beating people up. Same thing every week. You get the point, yada, yada, yada. It feels like the big build-up moments don't happen until PLEs, and it's kind of annoying. But at the same time, like I said, you're in it for the long haul, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, things are about to ramp up. Cena's coming back. Rock's coming back. It's going to get better, and it's going to get better real soon. And to start off, it's already going good. Change his theme song, and honestly, find a way for Jay and Sammy to get over to SmackDown within the next month or two. That's really the two things that need to happen to make this story go from like a B tier to B plus to like an A or an S tier by the time The Rock is involved. So yeah, overall, episode of SmackDown had some good things. Andrade vs. Melo was good. Profits vs. DIY was good. Roman segment was good. LA Knight segment was solid. And pretty much the only parts that were mid was Cody coming out and helping Owens and basically being revealed as a mid-carder. Blair, Davenport versus Naomi was garbage. Tiffany Stratton and the whole Nia Jackson Michin situation is garbage. And yeah, that's pretty much it, bro. So SmackDown, I would say it was a solid episode. But overall, there were some things that it could have made this episode even better, but they just didn't hit the mark. It happens to the best of us, but at least this episode was way better than this week's garbage Raw and way better than last week's garbage SmackDown. So, there you go. Let me know what you thought about SmackDown in the comment section below. And as always, I hope you guys have a phenomenal day. Peace out.